Hello guys, welcome back to Learning While Farming, and today we're here with another video. So my name is Nathanael Valladares. I'm from Belize. My experience as a young farmer, a 21-year-old tomorrow farmer, it's been pretty a good experience and a bad experience. First of all, why the good experience? While doing farming, you have this freedom, you have this advantage of working at your own pace. At your own pace. I mean, you have to put in the work to get results, but let's say you in a day you overworked, you really jumped the hell out of it, right? You really put yourself together. Uh, Maybe you can skip one day after that because of the work. You really advance work, but if you're dragged behind work and the weeds are coming, you need to fertilize, you need to pump water, you need to be moving, spray and this, and you're behind work. That's when you have to work extra. But for the meantime, I've managed pretty well. But that's one advantage that as a young farmer I've observed that already, that it has its advantages and disadvantages, dealing with farming. But also, you have to really set your mind that, hey, I have to get this done today or tomorrow, but it can't pass. So you really work the heck out of it, no matter if you get tired, if you reach home late, but you get it done. Some people plant like this: 1 acre based on corn, 1 acre based on, I don't know, tomatoes, another acre based on potatoes, another acre based on melons, another acre based on watermelons, another acre based on sweet peppers. One thing with farming is if you have equipment, a tractor, a plow, a rake, bed maker, pump sprayer, you're one step ahead of everyone in the game, because over here it's pretty hard to obtain those stuff, especially since the maintenance is really high of those equipment. Let's say, I don't know, the fuel injector pump of the tractor goes in or starts giving trouble. It's a big expense because you need to find the parts and the person who can work on it, and it's an up and down, and at times it is frustrating. I've personally experienced it, to be honest. You're like, damn, who knows this? And when someone comes to fix it, you're like, I gotta learn this, watch it properly, really good, because I gotta learn, so that when it happens again, I'm already one step ahead of the game. And that's a good tip, to be honest. Learn while what you see. That's why this is learning while farming, but learn what you see from others. Don't act like if you know better. Maybe I can't say you can't know other things better than others, but if someone is giving you a lesson or telling you this way works, I've tried it and it works, try it. And if it doesn't work with you, then you can say, oh, it didn't work out. But you have to try a little bit of everything here in this farming world. Farming is crucial in people's life. People don't know it, but without farmers, you don't have food. Without tomatoes, onions, potatoes, beans, flour, all of those, well, wheat, the flour, uh, um, livestock, the farmers that do livestock, that you know, chicken, pigs, beef, horses, and the list goes on. They are also needed. People might think that we're charging way too overpriced, but that's not the truth. You gotta know that the farmers have to take out what they invested, the work they put in, the time they put in, the well, that counts in investment when it comes to the gas fertilizers, labor for you. Sometimes you gotta contract people to help you because it's too much work. You gotta pay your, well, like I said, your labor and many other tiny expenses that accumulate, but in the end it does get big. And we try to include that into that settled price we sell for. For example, let's put it, I plant 5,000 trees of tomatoes. The investment of that seeds is $500, right? And that's the first investment, the $500 of the seeds. Let's say I need to plow and make beds, right? The plowing of 1 acre is here in Belize is approximately about $60. So $60 for an acre. That's if you don't have your tractor and your own equipment. $60 plowing. Then bed making is another $50, $60. That's only the investments. Then you need a water system and an irrigation system. And for you to cover an acre, you need about $400 of by wall. This is the by wall. You need about $400 of the by wall to buy a roll, a big roll of it. Then you need the thick by wall to supply the water to the smaller by walls. So that is another expense. That is like another $400 if you don't have old ones, or you can find another way. That's $800 only on your irrigation system. Then your water pump, the cheapest water pump you can find is about $400 to $500. Let's say 500. That is another 500. 500 from the seeds, 500 from the water pump. That's $1,000. 800 of the buy walls itself, and the 120 from the moving, from the plowing of dirt. That's already almost $2,000 only there. That's not counting. That's not counting your gas for, the using of the water pump, because it does use gas. Some use butane, some use diesel. For the tomatoes would take about 4 months to produce until you see your money. So you need to supply the water pump for 4 months, and those 4 months with gas, especially if it's summertime, it's really expensive to handle. So let's say you need about $300 to $400 based on gas. That depends how you're gonna use it. On that's a part of the gas. Then you have to buy pesticides, herbicides. Some pesticides cost, you need about three main pesticides here the way we plant. Three main pesticides for worms, for thrips, white flies, and other minor bugs, or however, right? That's about $150 base there. Then you need about another $100 to buy, but another $150 to buy things for fungus and bacteria on the feet of the tomatoes, right? So that's another 150. That's already about 2.5K. No, about 2.6K, because the gas and the the gas and the pesticides and herbicides or whatsoever. Fertilizers that are extremely expensive. So you need about $200 based on fertilizers, maybe more, maybe less. Some that you spray on top, some that you put on the roots, some in the water. It's about you are already hitting the 3K mark. That's 3K over there to sustain for 5,000 trees. An estimation, an approximation, right? I'm not saying it is less. It is like that. It could be more. It could be less. Then then you have to worry about. Um, then you have to include your labor, and you have to be tending to it. Some trees will die. Some won't make it. Some will get dry. some would won't produce, and it goes like that. So you would have to be smart with it. Also, what could be you have to count your daily expenses, your food, all of this, and let's say that 5,000 turn out to be 4,500 plants. You have to find a way how to make a profit in the end. So your investment was about $4,000, right? Or yeah, put 3.5 thousand dollars to start from scratch. That's the start of from scratch, because if you already own equipment, your steps ahead, right? If you own your tractor, your pump, your buy walls, this, that. But that's if you're starting from scratch. And let's say that those 4,000, 4.5K, 4,000 plants produced 300 buckets of tomatoes, right? On a really good season, produce on a really good season 300 buckets of tomatoes, right? Those 300 buckets of tomatoes, and let's say the price is at $50 a bucket, right? If you manage to sell those 3,000 buckets by the price of $50 each bucket, because the consumption of tomato is really high, you can be making approximately 300 times 5 is $15,000. Could be more, could be less. It all depends on the market, on how you move. But out of that, let's say $15,000 that you were fortunate enough that the market wasn't jammed and saturated. That $15,000, you subtract your expense, and right there, your expense was 3.5 $4,000, so your profit was 11,000. Out of that, you have to pay yourself in a certain way, like a normal worker, and whatsoever remains, you can reinvest, get someone to help you work, to work with you, and so it goes on. But you have to be smart with the money. And let's say that tomato does not give good, you should always have a backup, like some corn, something. Just don't depend from one product. That's one thing I've learned right there. Or here behind me, last year I did put corn, but I was fortunate enough, thank God, that I managed to hit it in where the price wasn't that where the price was pretty expensive. So I made something out of it. So I was lucky enough to, to win something. But you really have to time the market. You have to know when the market is moving. Especially here in Belize, you have to target the market. You have to notice the market really, really good, because Belize has a kind of small market. Depends what you're selling, but if you're smart enough, if you know how to move, you know how to distribute, you know how to be effective, Akido, you can make it. Agriculture is a really good business because people eat every day. That is a fact. There isn't a person that can say, hey, I don't have never tasted a tomato, I haven't tasted an onion, I haven't tasted this. Nah, it's a lie. It's all a lie. But farming is worth it to a certain extent if you know what you're doing, if you have the right equipment, the right moves, the timing of it. But you have to know what you're doing. Take advices, don't act like if you know better than others, because you will be humbled, especially in this field of agriculture. You have to know how to move. But that was just an example with the tomato. So it's all a risk in the end. And like I said, agriculture is beautiful. It's really, really beautiful once you know how to work, once you experience, you know the fertilizers, you know the chemicals, you know the pests, uh, you know how to fight them, you know how to level up. What's gonna be doing about advantages and disadvantages, I'll leave that for another video. But yeah, guys, this was a small discussion. I said I was gonna be doing these videos more on talking here and there, so I think I'm gonna be doing it, because it is pretty interesting. It's easy to sustain. Some people might watch it, some don't, but that's okay. And I really appreciate the time. I appreciate the subscribers. I really hope to get big here on YouTube. So yes, guys, thank you for your support. Thanks for the views, the subscriptions, the likes. Until next time, this was Learning While Farming.